Listen, I love Yu-Gi-Oh players. Did they seriously have to wait until winter to make a deck called Bird Up? Ugh, now I can't even go outside and film any birds. Alright, Sadie, this'll have to do. Show me how you would beat Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade. Good. Good. I can use this information. No, don't let me interrupt you. Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Today we're checking out Bird Up, the worst deck in the metagame, or more descriptively known as Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade. This deck popped out of a couple of pro players' bulk and immediately into top cuts over multiple events these past 2 weeks, so I thought I'd give the deck a whirl and a little update for the new set. Presenting Bird Up. Before we begin, if you're on the fence about subscribing, let me sweeten the pot for you. Click that little button below the video and I promise to pull multiple said in next week's progression playoff. So here's the list, and why play multiple type of card when monster card do trick? As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is an online strategy site for our mutual favorite card game. It's got a deck builder, card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. It's also where I post the Chalice Line monthly deck breakdowns, so give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. With that out of the way, let's bird up into Bird Up. Bird Up is the name of Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade, a testament to the fact that North American duelists literally cannot manage a single unique thought. This list was entirely legal, with the exception of Kit, for months, and no one figured it out until a couple of people topped with it in the OCG. Basically, it aims to use the Lyriluscs as an easy format Appaloosa before ending on an innovative end board. Appaloosa, Simorgh, Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, and Linkuriboh to protect it. Realistically, your Barrier Statue isn't going to last the turn, but your Simorgh is, at which point you can pivot to more negates, further extension in the Tri-Brigades, or repeatable non-targeting banishes through Shrike. But why play this over another deck with a special summoning Floodgate and a long combo line? You know, Drytron. Well, firstly, these are boss monsters the meta is wholly unprepared for. You get a lot of mileage out of opponents messing up an understanding of how Tri-Brigades work. Secondly, you don't often fold to meta hand traps. Appo comes down quick, Ash is miserable since every card in your deck does the same thing, your biggest enemy is infinite impermanence, but when was the last time you saw one of those? You've also got options going first or second. Lyrilusc makes one of the most effective Zeuses in the game with Assembled Nightingale, and Shrike is a disaster for Lich. Finally, you've got a toolbox of Tri-type Link monsters that all have utility in different matchups. Shrike, Cray, Conductor, and Double Dragon are all extremely varied in their interaction and constantly available. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Firstly, the birds. 3 Warbler, who specials herself from the hand if your field is empty, then 1 Lyrilusc from your hand or graveyard. Next, 3 Sapphire Swallow, who specials herself and another winged beast if you have a bird. And finally, 3 Cobalt Sparrow, who adds a winged beast on special. Next, the Tri-Brigades, 3 Fractal, 3 Kerass, 3 Nerval, and 3 of the newly released kit. Finally, we're on, and this is not a joke, 3 Kinkabio and 3 Crow, which is both searchable interruption and often an extender. Bringing up the rear, we've got 3 Gamma, Driver, AVN, and Statue. Yes, you have to play both. For spells, we're on 1-for-1, Foolish, Reborn, Called, and 3 Tanky. In the extra, we're on Zeus, Downerd, Recital, Assembled, 2 Shrike, Appo, Cray, Simorgh, Rugal, Conductor, 2 Farigite, Double Dragon, and Linkuriboh. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match showcases the combos this deck can perform on the play. Our opponent's playing Dragon Link, and lo, how the mighty have fallen. They've got some wind monsters in there. I mean, maybe they can summon a Parallel Exceed. They just need a Link Point to summon it to. They do have an Ash Blossom, so we will have to play through that, and I'm hoping they activate it on Tanky. No Gamma this game. Okay, we'll activate Fractal, sending a copy of Cobalt Sparrow, then normal summon a Kinkabio, bringing it back. Afterwards, we're going to activate the effect of Cobalt Sparrow, and overlay for a copy of Recital. We'll activate Recital's effect, and here comes the Ash Blossom. Okay, that's no big deal, we can still play through that quite easily. We'll activate the effect of Sapphire Swallow in hand, summoning herself and Nerval. Nerval's a winged beast, by the way, before activating Nerval for the Tri-Brigade Link 2 and activating its effect to special summon the Kerass from our hand. From here, we can make Appaloosa and activate Nerval's effect and the Tri-Brigade's effect to chain block to get a copy of Kit to hand before making Linkuriboh, and then going for a 3. Because there are very many open spell and trap zones, we can activate the effect of our Simorgh to get the Barrier Statue. We'll pass back to our opponent, and they'll concede. Our second match showcases just how easily the Tri-Brigade Link monsters tear through established boards. Our opponent's playing ABC Photon, a deck that I desperately hope is not real. They're going to lead with a copy of Pot of Desires, and I'll just cop to this. The Desires banishes not only Red Eye's Fusion, but also Driver. They're going to special summon a B-Buster Drake with the effective Silver Gadget before going into Verte, and getting themselves a copy of Galaxy Soldier off of Galaxy Soldier. They're going to summon that second Galaxy Soldier, and then overlay for a Nova and an Infinity. From here, they activate the effect of Verte, I think to try and get me to shotgun a hand trap, but I don't fall for it. They'll go for Infinity, take it under, and pass back. Okay, we can easily beat this. Our hand is quite good. We'll lead with a copy of Fractal, setting a copy of Nerval. They don't negate this, I'm just fiending for it, and I don't get it. Okay, one for one time. We'll go for Cobalt Sparrow, activate her effect, and add to our hand a copy of Warbler. From here, we'll activate Sapphire, and they decide that's a good enough time to negate. They're correct, but unfortunately, I already have the Karass in hand. We'll activate Karass to get a copy of Shrike from our extra, and goodbye goes the Infinity. From here, we can do whatever we want. We'll go into the Link 2, and then activate her effect to special summon a Fractar, who we will activate for 3 so we can get a copy of Simorgh. We'll go into a Rugal and Mist Lethal. God, at least we're both playing terribly. In main phase 2, we will normal summon a Naval, and then Link summon the Link Haribo that could have done the extra 300 damage. At end step, we'll get a copy of Barrier Statue and pass back to our opponent, who draws a gold. They'll set the gold, and at end of main, we will special summon back a Nerval so we can banish that sucker face down. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Drytron, so this is going to be a real battle of the special summon floodgates. At least we're going first, though our hand is absolute cheeks. We're going to normal summon a Nerval and go into Link Haribo, that's why we're playing it, to get a copy of Fractal to hand. Well, Fractal to send a copy of Cobalt Sparrow, but I can't really reborn it here. I have to go for the Nerval and activate its effect for 2, summoning out a copy of Flagette, whose effect we will activate to summon the kit, Link summon a copy of Simorgh, and then trigger the Flagette. Thank God we found a tanky for a Fractal for next turn. We'll pass back, we have no negates, but we do have the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds and the Link Haribo. Our opponent draws off the top Forbidden Droplet. You gotta be kidding me. They're gonna go into a Nova, into a Zeta to go into Link Haribo before activating Prep Rights, and there is Ben 10. From here, they'll activate Zeta, but we do have the DD Crow, so we activate it in the same chain in order to banish Ben 10 so it doesn't activate. They'll go into a copy of Anima and then a copy of Union Carrier, equipping a Dawn Knight from deck. After this, they're going to normal summon a copy of Cyber Petite Angel. Come on! They'll activate Gamma's effect in order to summon back the Gamma and a copy of Zeta, triggering the effect of Ben 10 and allowing them to get a Natasha. They'll Meteorus to get the Natasha onto the field, gain some life points after resolving the effect of the Dawn Knight, and then, you know, link away the Natasha so they can use it later. They'll activate the effect of Nightmare Phoenix, but unfortunately for them, you can't target Simorgh, so they have to take the Link Haribo. They're going to Natasha, and then afterwards they'll activate the Meteorus Drytron to get it back into the hand and Alpha's effect in order to get from deck to hand another copy of Ben 10. They'll make an Appaloosa for 3, but they can't walk over the Simorgh! We're going to activate the effect of Kit and the effect of Nerval, but they'll negate with Appaloosa. No big deal. Simorgh alive means we are fine. We'll activate the effect of Simorgh, they'll negate it, but now that monster is very easy to get over, even by something as weak as our Barrier Statue. We're going to normal summon a copy of Fractal and proceed to the battle phase, clearing the board, and then in main phase 2 we can activate the effect of Fractal unimpeded in order to get a 3. We're going for Hray, so we can activate its effect to put back Natasha, so we don't have to worry about that, before going into an Appaloosa for 2 and triggering Simorgh for a Mist Valley Apex Avian. We pass back to our opponent, and they will concede. So it's time for game 2, and ooh, going second against Drytron with 0 hand traps. Feels bad, man. Their hand isn't fantastic, however. We might be able to do this. They're going to lead with a copy of Preparation of Rites that's going to get a Ben 10 to hand. Afterwards, they're going to activate the effect of Zeta, pitching the Ben 10 to summon it, and add from deck to hand a copy of Manju. I guess you have to with this board. They'll activate the effect of Manju to get a copy of the Ben 10 to hand before going into a Union Carrier and activating its effect in order to equip from deck a copy of Dawn Knight. They'll activate Drytron to get into the Ben 10, triggering the effect of the Dawn Knight to send a Gamma, which they will then activate, pitching the Ben 10 in hand so they can summon the Zeta and trigger the Ben 10. They're going to get Herald of Ultimateness, then activate Meteorus to put it back in hand, firing it off to get the Ultimateness on field, and then make a Link Haribo and pass. Alright. All we have to chew through is 2 negates, huh? We're going to lead with a copy of Tanky. That resolves. Fantastic. Next, we'll activate Fractal. That also resolves. We'll go for Nerval. They will negate. We will Gamma. They will negate. And none of those are Ava, though we do have the Called by the Grave, even if they were. Fantastic. From here, we can go into Turquoise Warbler and then summon Cobalt Sparrow, who can be used to activate a copy of Sapphire Swallow. We'll go into Recitable Starling, and no reason to overcommit here. We can activate Recitable Starling's effect for a DD Crow and proceed to the battle phase, walking into the Link Haribo. They'll negate the attack, but we'll still attack in. I'm fine taking 1500 damage if it means we get to go into Downerd, and of course, AA Zeus. We'll activate Zeus's effect, clearing the board, then normal summon a copy of Nerval. We'll activate the effect to get a copy of Simorgh, and then make a Link Haribo, putting our opponent on Gotta Have It for an out for the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. They do not find one, and we win. So we're back with the deck, and god damn, this thing is cool. Oh, this thing is so cool. It's not often that these monstrosities also end up being extremely good, but this appears to be one of the few. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. The end board is something modern decks aren't really prepared to interact with. Yes, trap cards are good again, but almost counterintuitively, a lot of the best ones lose to Barrier Statue. Ice Dragon's Prison, Sanguine, they all need to special summon. 2. The boss utility is immense. Hooray shuffling a Lich or a Natasha before a follow-up is almost unbeatable, and Dragon Lord's bouncing is unmatched. And 3. It's actually really hard to completely out their turn 1 board. Getting over the statue is doable, but often requires investment, which means Simor get end step for Apex Avian is often enough to lock it up. And the cons. 1. It does have pretty easy outs. Appaloosa and Statue are both uniquely bad against Dark Ruler no more, so if they scam a copy, you're dead in the water. 2. It doesn't have many one-card combos, so if a deck like Drytron or Eldritch can establish parity, you're extremely unfavored. And 3. It is simply too based. The cringe among you will have to find something else to play. All in all, it's a consistent, powerful, and adaptable deck, and I hope to see more of it in the coming weeks. So that's that. As always, thanks to my patrons, including Dominic Ernst, Hakuo, AJBYGO, Alex Perea, Candyman, Chibi Gohan, Coolmaster X, Crispy, Dimsum05, Frosty, King Magic Ruler, Night Mari, Mike Carlotti, Oli Biarchi Austfioro, Rocky Hernandez, Rose Lapine, Seeker, Space Dandy 1993, Tyler Slacks, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Amida Elefandi, LG Smarson Kavicius, Emeranta V, Andrew Benson, Andrew Ferruia, Andrew Horseman Linderman, Angry Bread, Apex Systems, Billy Williams, Blake Root, Blair, Brandon Brown, Candide, Chad Bortz, Chess Prime, Trucks Away, CJ Alex, Crystal Red Fox, Dan the Man Hoban, Darcy Taves, Dylan Conley, Doug Parslow, Dive Missile, Distrin, Emperor Stove, Ernesto Ibarra, Fighting Fangwong, FUTR, Gavin Charlikowski, Hank Cheesecake, Inner Crescent, Isaac Jackson, Jalen Ya, Jared Lorman, Jason Leonard, Jeff Leonard, Jose Luis Cortez, Juliet Julian, Callie, Corey Hess, Korakaze, Lake Bayer, Lawrence Lottie, Lucas Girdes, Lucky Number 5, Lucas Arizo Hansen, Mac the Moderate, Major Duncan, Max, Meadow Edits, Mezzo Emrys, Michael Oskvark, Miyuna Arashi, Nick Extreme 99, Niru Soup, Nix Dolores, Papa Dragonite, Precise Bike 13, Picnic Blasted, Pro FB2, Pro Yugidad, Samsoon, Sapphic Ashley, Sean Deal, Second Standards Objective, Swinkles, This Machine 237, TJ Steakhouse, Yuri's Best, Zach Baki, and Yukie. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time.